more scope to fill in as a ruckman than what Himmelberg does. So he probably gets first look just at this stage.
Well, we are all set to go, and these are two ruckmen we could be calling for a very long time. It's young Hayes, who has got huge raps on him, and Kieran Strawn, who's really taken some giant strides in the last year or two. And up they go, and it's the former winning it down, but immediately tackled there. And speaking of senior players, wearing the helmet today is Brad Ebert. Just the 11 games last year, but 246 in total. What a wonderful player he's been for both West Coast and also Port Adelaide. 76 games for the Eagles, 170 more with Port Adelaide. Another stoppage. Again, it's Hayes winning it down, so a couple of good taps early. Ebert out of the middle. Didn't get that much ground, but a nice mark he's taken by Mays. Good to see him back. 101 games with the Lions before coming here. Not his best kick, and a pretty comfortable mark taken deep in defence. It's McPherson, who hasn't been able to get his body right, Bix, for a long time, but great to see him playing here today.
Yeah, it is. He's just had a wretched run with injuries, and there's so many big raps on him, but he just hasn't been able to get a run. And I think he's played about 10 or 11 games, and this is his third season, so let's hope that he has a good year.
There's Seedsman, some clever work to Chase Jones to Strawn. Well, there's the old saying, don't handball to the ruckman, they turn it over. Here's Sutcliffe now, got the shaved head, goes up inside 50. Not a bad kick, looking for Appleton. He just couldn't quite get there, and the ball trickles out of play. We've gone 25-minute quarters we're going to have today, Bix. It's going to count down, so we've got about a minute and a quarter and no score for either side.
Yeah, Wiley Buzzer starting deep forward. Cole Hardigan's on him. And Darcy Fogarty up the other end, who's been picked up by a young man called Jake Piscini, who was impressive in his first run last week for Port.
Yeah, he certainly was. Good call, Bix, as the umpire now gets ready to toss this one back in, and it's Buzzer in the ruck. He might have given away a free kick there. He has. And that'll give him a little bit of confidence. Strawn, he'll get a touch here. We'll see how he uses the footy. Not bad. Goes short, and it's a good kick too. And Paul Seedsman takes it in front of Ebert. A couple of players you would think that will play a lot of senior football this year. That kick wasn't his best. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. He found Scholl, but ran out of real estate. So now the kick comes long and high, up inside 50, looking for Marshall, who goes up, couldn't bring it down, but brings it to the front. Ebert now with a quick handball away. McPherson there with Appleton, and the ball goes out of play. We've gone 2 minutes and still no score for either side.
Yeah, be disappointed with that Todd Marshall, because he did. He had timed his run beautifully, got it at the highest point, found his way to the front of the pack, but just bounced off the fingers. But looked very likely there.
So on this outer side, as we are looking here at the moment, on the eastern side of the ground, again, a free kick given away, and perhaps a little bit of inexperience. Oh no, it's going the other way.
That one was around the stoppage, so it wasn't in the ruck contest. It's Joe Atley who's going to line up from about 30 metres out, about a 45-degree angle. So might just have a look at the replay if that were to come up, but clearly it's a holding or an infringement one, and Joe Atley gets a chance to open the account for Port Adelaide.
21-year-old, younger brother of Sean at North Melbourne. Again, a player with big raps on him. Kick is on its way, just misses to the near side. And through for one behind. So we have our first score here for the afternoon. It goes the way of Port Adelaide, 3 minutes in.
Part of Port's depth, isn't it, in the midfield? You've got Atley, you've got Drew, you've got a number of players who can go through there, and I think that's one of their strengths. They've got a number of big-bodied players.
There's Jake Kelly kicking it long up the line. And a double grab, he thought it was Himmelberg, but not paid. Gives it off to Butts. Now the kick comes forward, and a good mark out in front. I really like this guy, Benny Crocker. Comes in board, not his best effort there. It's going to be a turnover, so Port Adelaide now with an opportunity to go forward. Good kick to Buzzer, plays it on quickly. Sutcliffe runs inside 50, burns off Hardigan, open goal, beckons, and he misses. I think it was the right play. He took the game on, just couldn't quite execute with the finish.
Yeah, he's another depth player, isn't he? We saw him late last year. He came in, he's got the ability to tag, and he's a good player, but just he'd be pretty filthy with that. He let himself down with the finish.
McPherson's been really busy early in this game. Wilson dropped what he probably would have taken normally, but manages to butter up, goes to Seedsman. He lowers the eyes and finds Paholke. A lot of play on that outer side wing early in this game. Up the line to Strawn. Atley did well, just got in the way, and then won the contest. Couldn't quite keep it in, but that was good play.
Saw this a little bit last week where Crows seem to be going really short out of defence, and so far today they've taken them on the back pocket. It's 3 or 4 kicks to get it up to the wing. So I just wonder whether that's one of the things that new coach Matthew Nix is introducing to the game plan.
So maybe a bit slower out of defence and then accelerate as you go forward.
That's it.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Good observations there, Mark Bickley. Two-time premiership captain. Great to have him here today. Here's Buzzer. Strong tackle on him. That was good defence. His Butts going after it. Marshall in there for the contest. Kelly as well. There's a holding free kick, and it's going to go the way of young Butts, who was given a go last week. Had 12 touches. Played quite nicely.
Yeah, he's a bit shaky early on. Gave away a few free kicks. I think he was on Tom McDonald and got out marked once or twice. But the longer the game went, took a couple of marks and just looked more comfortable. But he'll be much better for that run.
There's Strawn, who did well to take the mark, but just got a little bit close and kick was smothered. And now he's given away a free kick, so he'd be disappointed with that. And it's going to be a tight kick here from the boundary line.
Is it Hayes?
I think it's Hayes. We'll see what he's like with his disposal. We'll see Strawn's got pretty good skills for a big man. Hayes, who has had his injury concerns in the past, but has got massive wraps. Not a bad drop onto the boot. In fact, that's a wonderful effort right to the line. Just touched and goes through for a minor score. So the margin 3 points. We've gone almost 6 minutes in this opening term. See if the Crows can construct something here. No, the ball is kept in. Well done here from Port Adelaide. They do it well. And it was Woodcock trying to run into it there. Couldn't take it cleanly. Farrell's free if they can get it to him. Ball doesn't get there. Here's Woodcock again. Does well. Centres the play. Hardigan's the only one there. It takes a nice off break. Almost goes through. But one behind is the end result again.
Peppering the goals, aren't they, Port Adelaide? And Adelaide are struggling to get it out of their back half. Once again, gone for a few short kicks and just haven't been able to keep the ball in the body.
And here's McPherson, who's been busy early in this game. The ball has been down there a bit. But he used this one well, so we'll see what the Crows can do. A really good user of the footy here, Seedsman. Goes long out towards Himmelberg. He gets it on the bounce, did it well. Does really well. Got around, gives it back to the big fella. Strawn up the line. So the Crows finally into their forward half. He's one of the top-up players, Marnie. He's the son of Wayne Marnie. Here's Seedsman again, who's been busy. Strong tackle on him there by Drew. Gives it off, though. Got Himmelberg. Kick was smothered, but they still go forward here. Paholke. Now they give it back. Davis, open goal, and he's missed.
First foray inside 50 there. They looked like they were going to score a goal. It was a pretty easy shot in the end. Davis, he ran really hard to receive the handball and just maybe could have taken one more step to steady, but from 30 metres out directly in front, just pushed it to the right.
Another good depth player too, Biggs. He had his senior debut last year in round 15 against Geelong.
Hard day, that one.
Yeah, it was a difficult one. But good that he got a taste for it, and now that he's got that taste, I'm sure he wants to play more in 2020. Here go the Crows again. A few quick handballs. They get it out, and it's the former Lion there, Keys, who pops it inside 50. Oh, great tackle. Almost holding the ball. Umpire lets it go. Or is he going to bring it back?
Paid it.
Paid it in the end. It was a really strong tackle. And a shot at goal here from about 25, 30 metres out, almost directly in front. And I think it's young Gollant. So Lockie Gollant will have a look at the tackle. Bixen, I think probably fair enough. The umpire gave plenty of time.
Yeah, look, he a bit of composure. He was looking to see if he could lay the ball off and just taking that second to look. And then when he went to ground, he didn't dispose of it correctly. So that's holding the ball. Agree with that one. And let's see, young Lockie Gollant. There's not much of him, let's say that. He's a wiry-looking type, but there's been a lot of people like what they've seen so far since arriving at the club. And
played with Lockie Scholl at St Bernard's in Victoria. He comes in and I think he's put it through. He's got the first goal of the game. And Bix, you mentioned the fact that he's only very skinny, 76 kilos, and he's put on 6 kilos, can you believe, in the off-season. So he came in as thin as a wire and a bit of push and shove in the middle of the ground. In fact, it is on at the moment. So it might only be February, but plenty of feeling between these two sides.
See, Kyle Hardigan is amongst that, and Todd
Cam
Marshall.
Sutcliffe.
Yeah, Cam Sutcliffe. So a couple of the veterans in there, just making their presence felt. And you can understand that those guys are pretty desperate. You know, you think about Cole Hardigan and Sutcliffe, they're, you know, they're experienced players. They're playing in this game. They're hoping to make an impact and force their way back into the sides, particularly for round one. But more importantly, they want to get back in next week so they can actually give themselves a chance of playing round one. So the stakes are pretty high here for a lot of these guys.
And I think the fans would love it. Now, Gollant, who kicked that goal, he's idle. He loved watching his football games. He's Malcolm Blight. Not a bad idol to have. What a wonderful player he was. And Pretty extraordinary coach, as you would know, Bix.
Yeah, Ronan O'Connor then just got a tackle on Cam Sutcliffe and won the ball, holding the ball. So he's another youngster for Adelaide.
Just feel like the intensity's picked up a little bit here, which is great, and already a quick pace to this game. Some nice handballs there. Marshall, not his best effort with the kick, so the Crows an opportunity here. A little bit scrappy at times, but you'd expect that. There's O'Connor again. Tried to get it out to Seedsman. Buzzer just outworked him there. Got the ball inside 50. Chance here for Williams. Can he pick up and then steady himself? Tries to get around Mackesy. And he runs out of real estate. Ball goes out of play. But he's going to get a free.
The other way. I think the umpire said that holding the ball.
Yeah. So it was pretty hot there.
Not sure I agree with that one. But anyway, Crows short again. Cole Hardigan with ball in hand.
And he comes long to Jones, who played 8 games last season, picked 9. Another really talented player, Bix.
And once again, this is games like today. If he's going to be playing round 1, you'd like to see him show a little bit of class today. We know he's got speed. You want to see him breaking away from stoppage. So I think that might be his first or second touch today, and he'd be hoping to get a bit more of it.
He's a man who's played quite a bit of senior football, 30 games with Brisbane. Ben Keys goes long up the line, looking for Fogarty. Good attack on the footy. Couldn't take the mark, but I like the way he crashed it there, Bix, and the ball goes out of play.
Yeah, he looks like he's undertaken a bit of a change in body shape as well. Looks a bit more defined, maybe dropped a little bit of that puppy fat and just coming up, meeting the ball, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to create, he's going to hit packs and bring the ball to ground. 3
points the margin, 11 minutes gone. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast if you're streaming it online at the moment as Hayes goes after it. There's Gollant, who's already kicked 1 goal today, the only one of the game. Players going in after it. Sutcliffe hacks it off the deck, gets it forward. Patrick Wilson gets his big body in there. He can't take it. Nice tackle there by Hamill. And we should get a ball up.
Yeah, both sides just struggling to get any sort of fluency at the moment. We haven't seen the ball sort of move from one end to the other. It's a bit stop-start.
Here we go again. I reckon Strawn was the one that won that one down. There's Mays going in. Drew now just soccers it to himself. Gains about 25 metres, so he won't mind that. Had Wilson right there with him, and we'll get a boundary throw-in. Just forward of centre here for the Power, who have had plenty of the ball and done a lot of attacking, just haven't been able to kick straight.
Yeah, for a lot of these guys, this is their first game, particularly some of the younger guys. So just a couple of double grabs and, a bit fumbly, and that's what's making this game a little bit scrappy.
Thoughts on Strawn so far? Pretty solid?
Yeah, look, he's a big guy, and he's rucked against Buzzer a couple of times, so he's got size advantage there, and he's been able to get first hand on it.
Seedsman now going long to Davis. That was pretty clever. Just got Garner under the football, then goes long inside 50. Ball off hands. Here's Frampton, the former Power player. Gets the handball away. Little kick towards goal. One behind.
Yeah, Davis has looked dangerous, hasn't he? He had a moment in the second quarter last week against Melbourne where he kicked 2 goals and did a couple of nice things, but ended up with about 6 or 7 touches for the match and was a little bit quiet. But already in the first quarter, it's been his pace. He's run from one contest to the other and just been able to be used with handball, which is good.
Hardigan goes up. Worrell was in there as well. Paholke, if he's good enough, runs onto a good tackle, though, by Atley. Now the ball socked towards defensive 50 here for Port. Strong tackle there on O'Connor. And now another really good tackle there by Schoenberg. And we'll get a ball up right on the paint of the 50. And getting up there was Ellsworthy, one of the top-up players for the Power. Umpire tosses it up. Nice handball there by Schoenberg over the head. Got it out, worked it well. Here's Wilson on the left, bending it around, but not far enough. And another behind. Margin now 5 points.
That was a nice bit of work around the stoppage. I just had the binoculars on. Schoenberg, and he was able to work off his opponent, won the ball. A bit of razzle-dazzle. Handball over the head, found an opponent, ended up setting up a shot on goal. And Paddy Wilson would normally kick that left foot, I know, but only 35 metres out directly in front.
He's a good story, Schoenberg. He was overlooked in the under-18s, then got picked up and averaged 27 touches a game. He was dominant. So he's one of those guys that came in, was probably the last one picked, and then absolutely blitzed it.
Yeah, they must like it. They've given him Richard Douglas's number, which is he's a great man, Dougie, so he'll be happy with that.
Now, coming in a bit late there was Frampton, former teammates on Brad Ebert. Nothing in that. He was going for the football, but made him earn it nonetheless. There he goes short, Ebert. To Pat Moore now gets it back. He looks good, Ebert, doesn't he, Bix?
Yep.
You'd expect that. Such an experienced campaigner, strong fist there, out of bounds. Right in front of us here, broadcast side at Thebarton Oval. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast wherever you're watching. Here's a replay, and that was that contest between Frampton and Ebert. Just a little tap on the back almost to say, sorry, mate, she's right. And no angst there from Ebert, so he understands just a football collision. Here's buzzer to Drew, working it to Atley. This is better from Port, gets it out to Pat Moore. Great to see him back after that serious knee injury. Goes long up inside 50. Good mark taken by Hardigan. And with all these youngsters coming through, he's still one that wants to prove he's good enough to be in this senior side, Biggs.
Yeah, no doubt. He's on Todd Marshall there. He really good spoil about a minute earlier, and then that one there, a mark. So just on top early on in that contest.
And O'Connor's done a few nice things in this game so far as well. Himmelberg goes up, couldn't take it, then kept it in. That might be out of bounds on the full. Umpire says no. With a boundary thrown on this half-forward flank for the Crows. They lead by 5 points. Looks like we're going to play 25-minute quarters here today. 25 degrees, magnificent conditions. As the two rucks go at it again, this time it's Frampton. He put a tackle on Ebert. Drew came steaming through it on the right boot. Good contest there between Hardigan and Marshall. The umpires found a free, and Hardigan just on top at the moment.
Yeah, just worked his way to front position. He's really strong through the hips, Hardigan, and he was able to just out-position Todd Marshall.
Now turnover here, though, from the Crows. They tried to go via hand. Here's Williams, one-on-one with Mackesy. Sutcliffe working there as well. Well done by Worrell. Onto that left boot. That's a neat kick too, and he finds McHenry.
Yeah, for Crows supporters with long memory, he's got a bit of the Kane Johnsons about it. He's got a bit of tape wrapped around the long hair, which brings a few memories back. He's got it back again in another kick.
And he is a tackling machine. 5.5 last week. He just loves the contest, a la Rory Sloane. So that is exciting signs there for the Crows. That's a great kick by Gollant. Found Crocker on a long lead.
Got some wheels, Crocker. He really does get on his bike. He runs up and runs back, and that one there just used that advantage to get out in front of his man.
Well, he was a bit stiff, Crocker. 26 games at Collingwood, but he was behind DeGoey, Elliott. You know, he had some quality forwards ahead of him, so maybe with the exodus of small forwards they've had at the Crows, it could be his time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And certainly he's been impressive since arriving at the club.
Umpire now tosses it back in, and looks like we're going to get a secondary stoppage. Umpire's seen enough. Wilson in there. So too buzzer.
Our listeners and viewers won't be able to see this, but the Crows are fairly high up with their defence. They're pressed right up, and that's something that's a little bit different as well under Matthew Nicks. So they're trying to create real density to lock the ball inside their forward 50. Last year, under Don Pike, they probably were a bit more spread out, which made it a little bit easier for teams to get the ball out.
Yeah, only one player behind the defensive centre, if you like, but they're going to get tested now. That's going to be a one-on-one contest, so we'll see if Sutcliffe is good enough. Can he take it cleanly? Crows numbers win out. Kelly, he's pretty good in that area, but he turns it over to Appleton, one of the top-up players. Now the ball comes up towards Boyd. Woodcock, good hip and shoulder with Kelly, socketed off the deck. Maybe not a bad option, and luck's a fortune. And this will get him involved in the game. Todd Marshall takes the mark and will line up 25 metres out, almost directly in front.
Yeah, it was a kick off the ground. Really good work by Woodcock, though. He went back and he sought some body contact. You see there, he took his man out of the play, bounced back to his feet, and then got it up and kicked it. And Todd Marshall, I think that's what we expect. He's a real opportunist, isn't he? You don't know where it's going to come from, but you know he's a very clever player.
So he'll come in now. He'd expect to finish this one, and he does. That's better from Port. A good finish. He's first. Port Adelaide's first. And they take the lead as we approach the 18-minute mark here in this first term. 1-4-10, the Crows 1-3-9.
Just going back to the defensive setup of Adelaide, one of the pros, of course, if you push your players up, is you can lock it in there and you create density in that half. The downside of that, of course, is if the ball comes through, there is half an over where there's just no players there. And that we saw that a little bit then, where the ball got hacked out and it cleared that sort of group of defenders for Adelaide. And all of a sudden, it was one-on-one in acres of space, and Port Adelaide were able to work it forward. And that's the downside, I guess, of trying to push all your players up high.
Yeah, and you've got to be clean when you come out. That handball by Kelly, just maybe a little bit too much on it and enabled Port in. Ooh, nice jump there by Hayes. That was impressive. Mays goes in after it. And they've got Hayes and Mays working in the middle, but it's the Crows going forward inside 50. Gollant, like the way he's played so far, but good defensive work there by the Power. They come out now to Farrell, a player you were really keen to see today. Not a bad kick. Appleton did okay in the end. Got the handball away, but the Crows have got the numbers. Big tackle there on Keys. That was outstanding work, and now they try and work it again here, Adelaide. They go forward, but a good strong mark take it by Leanett. He's usually a really good user of the footy, and this no exception. He finds Pat Moore. And he gets Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe now turns and goes inside 50. That was good play. Williams couldn't take it. Second effort, not bad. Ball spits out. Here it comes again. Wants to give off the handball. Patmore takes it and went to go around the body. He received from Cox, who I think contemplated having a shot himself, but out of bounds on the full.
Game's starting to open up now, of course. Players getting tired. The defensive structures just start to break down. And that last bit of movement, switch of play, length of the field, unfortunately wasn't finished with a goal, but much better looking play by Port Adelaide.
Frederick just gave away a free kick there, and it's going to be Crocker who takes it. Defensive half-back. They look for the switch here. Dangerous kick. And that was really well done there. And that was Trent Burgoyne, the father-son selection. He's been lively a couple of times involved. Couldn't take it, but he might get another opportunity with the ball set to come back in. Garner gives it off to Farrell. Tucked up against the boundary line. Good pack forming here and a strong mark. Nicely done by Buzzer. He's been in a few contests, but hasn't been all that clean. That was a lot better. Yeah,
look, I think we've known that he's capable of doing this sort of stuff, and no doubt that's why Port Adelaide have got him across. But just had, as we watch the replay, comes in from the side, got his left hand up and just dragged it down. His issue has been the consistency of his body and being able to play consistently, because when you play consistently, you're able to make adjustments to your game and you find that you can improve, but he's just been such a stop-start player at Geelong. But let's hope that's all behind him at Port.
Absolutely. He turns 24 this Monday, Bix. 9 games with Geelong. He's from Queensland, Mount Gravatt. Not his best finish there, but a confidence booster with a good clunk. As they come out here, the Crows, short kick to Hardigan. He's okay. He's looked good after an injury-interrupted pre-season.
Yeah, he had that knee issue. I think he might have even had an operation, but he's working his way back now. He's he's someone who is a bit of a quiet achiever for Adelaide. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, and he makes some mistakes, but he's really well loved amongst his teammates at the club.
And a good kick forward there too by Wilson, who's played a couple of senior games himself. Strong goes in after it. There's McHenry looking for some action. Schoenberg as well throws his body at the contest. Woodcock diving in there for Port Adelaide. There's Cox now on top. And a good double tackle there from the power. In fact, the umpire says that's good enough for holding the ball. And Port Adelaide here will get an opportunity to go forward once more. It's Farrell thumping it long, right to the top of the square. Ball goes over the back. Williams. Oh. Well, he had the open goal. It just came off the instep, through for one behind. It's been that kind of quarter in front of goal, really for both sides. And that margin extends to 3 points. Closing stages of the first term.
Yeah, it was interesting with the young fella. He's actually a left footer as well, so it was on his preferred foot, but just caught the outside of the ball, and from 1.5 metres, he's pushed it left.
So he'd be disappointed. Good courage shown there. Nice work. Ball comes in now to Schoenberg. He uses it via hand again. This is a nice bit of play here from Adelaide. That's a bit of class there from Jones. That was really good to Paholke, who goes short in turn to Davis, and that's the best passage of play we've seen today.
Yeah, it has been, and that's we saw it briefly last week. There's a fair bit of run and everyone sort of attacking at once from the back half, and we saw that then. It was a series of 3 handballs. They were able to pick the player out by foot, and that's a nice bit of play.
And have a look at it. It was all set up by Jones. Just a little shimmy, change of direction. Difficult kick, though. This isn't going to be easy for Davis. He's tucked in against the boundary line. He misses to the near side. He's got a couple of behinds. But in the game, so that's good signs.
One thing we're seeing with Davis, he's clearly got a burst of speed. He's been able to create separation with his player and get to plenty of contests. So, yeah, he's been impressive in this first quarter.
And I'm liking Farrell Bix, who you like as a player. Kicked 3 goals in a showdown, remember?
Just really classy player, isn't he?
In 1 quarter, I reckon it was his second game. Now, that's just stayed in. No, the umpire says out of bounds on the full. Todd Marshall with a look of almost disbelief saying, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, he did the old baseball catcher style. He took the mark probably over the line and then quickly pushed it back in to say, no, it's marked inside the field of play.
So it's Ned McHenry who's got the football here, just on the defensive side of centre wing. He's been okay.
This is interesting. Adelaide, he looked to want to go short before actually going down the line. Oh, that was very close to being out of bounds.
That was close to one of the Port Adelaide fans are looking at the boundary umpire and saying, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to see. People love their footy. And here are the Crows. Now, can they work it out? Well done by O'Connor. Great handball. Releases Keys. He's a little bit too far out. Lowers the eyes. Not a bad option. Ball over the back. Opportunity again there for Davis. Garner, good stuff. Got it out. Kick now comes out outside defensive 50. Woodcock and Seedsman are there. Good contest. Woodcock goes after it. O'Connor in once more. Ebert now for the power. He goes after it. Free kick. It's coming back. And it's going to go Ebert's way. And that might just about do it for this opening quarter. Ebert now goes long up the line. And a free kick again.
Push in the back.
And it's a push in the back going to Butts.
Yeah, a bit of restlessness amongst the crowd. I haven't got the stats in front of us in terms of free kick, but it's clear Adelaide have had a number of those. Now, whether they're there or not, I think the umpire is saying they were. But, yeah, a bit of restlessness from the Power fans.
Well, there were some mistakes, but there was also some really good play in that opening term from both sides. We'll talk about it a little bit more in depth shortly. At quarter time, though, it is Port Adelaide 1-6-12, the Crows 1-4-10.